The holographic interface flickered as Commander Elena Reyes passed her hand through it, cycling through a series of reports from the outer colonies. 6 months since first contact, and still no clear understanding of the visitor's intentions. The gentle hum of the station's life support systems provided a constant backdrop to her thoughts. Rhythmic, soothing, a reminder that despite everything, they were still alive. "Any updates from Outpost Sigma?" she asked, not looking up from the interface. Lieutenant Koga shook his head. "Nothing since yesterday's transmission. They're either experiencing technical difficulties or they're gone," Elena finished. She'd lost enough people in the past half-year to know the signs. An outpost goes quiet. Promises are made to investigate. Before anyone can reach them, another crisis emerges. The cycle continued, and humanity's footprint among the stars grew smaller each day. The visitors, the Veil, as they'd come to be called, never attacked directly. There were no warships, no invasion forces, no ultimatums delivered in alien tongues. There was only silence, followed by disappearance. Entire colonies simply ceased to exist, leaving behind empty habitats with meals half-eaten, personal effects untouched, as if the inhabitants had simply stepped out of existence mid-breath. "Commander," came a voice from the doorway. Dr. Marcus Chen, the station's lead xenobiologist, entered clutching a tablet. His face bore the telltale signs of someone who hadn't slept in days. "I think I've found something." Elena gestured toward an empty chair. "I'm listening. The quantum resonance patterns we've been detecting. They're not random. They're not even communication attempts, as we initially thought." Marcus tapped his tablet, sending a series of waveforms to the holographic display. "They're echoes." Koga leaned forward. "Echoes of what?" "Of us," Marcus said. "Or rather, versions of us, from elsewhere in the multiverse." Elena felt a familiar skepticism rise within her. "The multiverse theory hasn't been proven." "It has now," Marcus interrupted, his voice tinged with both excitement and dread. "The Veil aren't visitors from another star system. They're visitors from parallel realities, versions of reality that are slightly ahead of our timeline. And they're not abducting colonists. They're retrieving them." "Retrieving them for what?" "Purpose?" Elena asked. Marcus's expression darkened. "To save them from what's coming." The facility beneath Europa's ice shelves had not been designed for comfort. Utilitarian corridors carved through the moon's subsurface ocean, protected from the harsh radiation of Jupiter by kilometers of ice above. Dr. Sophia Patel had called this place home for nearly a decade, leading humanity's most secretive research initiative, Project Lighthouse. "The results are consistent," she told the assembled team, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of holographic data. "Every simulation ends the same way. The quantum collapse begins gradually, then accelerates exponentially. By our calculations, we have less than 3 months before it reaches Earth." General Harris, the military liaison to the project, removed his glasses. "In plain language, Doctor," Sophia sighed. After years of theoretical work, she still struggled to convey the magnitude of their discovery in terms others could grasp. "Reality is unraveling, General. The fundamental forces that hold matter together are decaying. It began at the edges of our solar system, which is why the outer colonies were affected first. But it's spreading inward." "Can it be stopped?" Harris asked. "No," Sophia replied, "but we believe it can be escaped." She gestured to the device that dominated the center of the laboratory, a massive ring structure filled with swirling energy, tendrils of blue-white light cascading around its circumference. The culmination of humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics, gravitation, and 11-dimensional mathematics. Project Lighthouse was never about preventing the collapse. It was about finding a way out, a way to another reality, one that hasn't begun to decay yet. Harris's eyes narrowed. "And the visitors? The Veil?" "They're us," Sophia said. "Or rather, they're humans from realities that have already faced the collapse. They've been trying to save as many as they can, transferring people to stable realities, before their own versions disintegrate." She paused. "But they can only take so many. The process requires precise quantum alignment between individuals across realities. Most people don't have viable alternates to connect with." So they're cherry-picking, Harris said bitterly. They're saving who they can, Sophia corrected, and now we need to do the same. Commander Elena Reyes stood before the gathered remnants of humanity's leadership on Earth. The chamber, once used for global governance, now seemed cavernous with so many seats empty. The collapse had accelerated beyond their predictions. Earth had weeks, not months, remaining. Project Lighthouse is ready, she announced, but its capacity is limited. We can transport approximately 1 million people to the target reality. The selection protocol has been finalized based on genetic diversity, skill distribution, and long-term survival metrics. The outcry was immediate and predictable. 1 million out of the billions remaining on Earth. Even after the evacuations to Mars and the moon colonies, it was a fraction of a fraction. What about the rest? Demanded the representative from the African Union. We're just supposed to accept extinction. Elena had rehearsed this moment countless times, but the words still felt hollow. The alternative is extinction for all. At least this way, humanity survives somewhere. And who decided the selection criteria? Asked another voice. Who gets to play God? No one is playing God, Elena replied firmly. We're facing the end of everything we know. The lighthouse will save who it can. And yes, that means making impossible choices. But every person chosen represents our collective future. As the debate raged, Elena's personal communicator vibrated. A message from Marcus. Incoming transit, lighthouse location, immediate. She excused herself and hurried to the adjacent tactical room, where a secure feed from the Europa facility displayed on wall-sized screens. The lighthouse ring was active, its energy signature pulsing in patterns they'd never achieved in testing. What's happening? She demanded of the technician. We don't know, Commander. The ring activated itself. The swirling energy intensified, coalescing into a stable portal, and through it stepped a figure, human in appearance, dressed in an unfamiliar uniform that seemed to shimmer with embedded technology. Behind this visitor, through the portal, Elena could see a vast chamber filled with similar rings, hundreds of them, all active. The visitor removed a translucent mask, revealing a face that caused Elena's heart to stop. It was her own face. 2 decades older perhaps, lined with experience, but unmistakably hers. Commander Reyes, her older self said with a sad smile. We don't have much time. Your reality is collapsing faster than ours did, but we've found something better than escape. What? Could be better than survival? Elena asked. Restoration, the other Elena replied. We've discovered how to reverse the collapse, not just for one reality, but for all of them. The multiversal cascade can be reversed, but we need something from your timeline to complete the process. Hope, that dangerous emotion Elena had suppressed for months, flared within her chest. What do you need? The quantum signature of your universe before decay began. Your lighthouse project has been measuring it for years. The other Elena's eyes held a fierce determination. We can save everyone, not just a selected few. But you have to trust me. Trust yourself and act now. Dr. Sophia Patel watched as teams of technicians from across realities worked in perfect synchronization. The lighthouse, once meant as an escape route, had been reconfigured into something far more ambitious. A multiversal anchor point, the SO. Theory is sound, she told Commander Reyes as they observed from the control platform. When activated, it will create a cascading resonance that counters the decay process. Reality won't just be stabilized, it will be restored to its pre-collapse state. And the cost? Elena asked, always the pragmatist. The lighthouse will be consumed in the process, and whoever activates it must remain at the core of the resonance field. Sophia hesitated. They won't survive. Elena nodded slowly. I volunteer. I knew you would, came a voice behind them. The other Elena, her alternate self, approached. But it can't be you. Why not? Because you're needed for what comes after. The restoration will save your reality, but the knowledge of what happened, of what nearly happened, must not be lost. Someone has to remember to ensure it never comes this close again. The older Elena placed a hand on her counterpart's shoulder. Besides, My reality was the first to begin collapsing. It's fitting that I be the one to end it. Before Elena could protest, alarms blared throughout the facility. The quantum readings were spiking. The collapse had reached Jupiter. "We're out of time," Sophia announced. "It's now or never." The elder Elena strode toward the center of the lighthouse ring, where a small control platform had been installed. "When this works," she called back, "make it count. Build something worth preserving." Commander Reyes watched as her other self initiated the sequence. The ring's energy surged, inward instead of out, enveloping the figure at its center. Throughout the facility, through the quantum entanglement network connecting to rings in other realities, the resonance spread. A counterwave to the collapse, reality healing itself. The last thing Elena saw before the blinding light engulfed everything was her own face, older but unbowed, mouthing two words: "Remember this." Commander Elena Reyes jolted awake at her desk, aboard Orbital Platform 7, files scattered across her workspace. Lieutenant Koga stood in the doorway, concern evident on his face. "Commander? You were calling out in your sleep." Elena blinked, disoriented. "How long was I out?" "Just a few minutes." "Just a few. The quarterly reports from the outer colonies came in, and you said you wanted to review them immediately." "Outer colonies. Reports. Normal, mundane administrative tasks." Elena's mind reeled with vivid images. Visitors called the Veil, evacuations. A device beneath Europa's ice, a version of herself stepping through a portal. "Lieutenant, has there been any unusual quantum activity reported in the system recently?" Koga's confusion was apparent. "No, ma'am. Everything's nominal. The new QEC network is operating at peak efficiency, actually." Elena nodded slowly. The dream, if it was a dream, already fading at the edges of her consciousness. Yet something remained, a certainty buried deep within her. "Schedule me a call with Dr. Chen in xenobiology and Dr. Patel at the Europa Research Station," she said, "and pull all the data we have on quantum resonance patterns in parallel systems. May I ask why, Commander?" Elena stared out the viewport at Earth below, beautiful and whole. "Call it a hunch, Lieutenant. About something we need to prepare for." As Koga left to carry out her orders, Elena opened her terminal and began a new file, titled Lighthouse Protocol. At the top, she typed a single sentence: "To remember what never happened, so that it never will." Outside, stars glittered in the vastness of space. Reality intact, echoes of tomorrow resonating across the boundaries between what was, what is, and what might yet be.